in the scorched plains of a forgotten war, where the earth trembled under the weight of iron beasts, the M1 Abrams tank named Thunderheart rumbled forward like a guardian of the damned. Inside its armored womb, a crew of 4 souls forged in fire held the line between life and oblivion. Captain Alexander Thorne commanded with a voice like tempered steel, calm, unyielding yet laced with the quiet poetry of a man who had seen too many sunsets through gunsmoke. At the driver's station sat Elena Voss, her fingers dancing over controls with the grace of a pianist, her emerald eyes reflecting the flickering lights of the dashboard. She was the heartbeat of the machine, navigating craters and chaos as if threading a needle in a storm. Beside her, Hale manned the gunner's seat, his broad shoulders hunched over the sights, his mind a whirlwind of calculations and instincts. With a name that evoked ancient warriors, Marcus carried the weight of his fallen comrades in every shot he fired, and completing the quartet was Sophia Reyes, the loader, whose lithe form belied a strength born from loss. She slammed rounds into the breach with rhythmic precision, her dark hair tied back, whispering prayers in Spanish under her breath. They were strangers once, drawn from distant corners of the world, but war had welded them into a family, bound by sweat, blood, and the unspoken language of survival. The mission was simple on paper: advance through enemy lines to secure a vital bridge under the cover of dusk. But as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of crimson and ash, the first shells whistled overhead. Incoming! Alex barked into the intercom, his voice cutting through the static like a blade. The tank lurched as Elena swerved, dodging a crater that bloomed from an artillery strike. "Hold steady, Thunderheart," she murmured as if coaxing a wild horse. Marcus pivoted the turret, his crosshairs locking onto distant silhouettes, enemy tanks hulking like shadows in the twilight. "Target acquired, 2 o'clock. Range 1500, Marcus reported, his tone steady despite the adrenaline surging through his veins. Sophia fed the sabot round into the cannon, her hands a blur. "Loaded," she called, her voice a melody of defiance. The main gun roared, sending a shockwave that rattled their bones. In the distance, a plume of fire erupted, a hit. But victory was fleeting. Return fire hammered against their hull, sparks flying as armor plates groaned in protest. Under the relentless barrage, communication became their lifeline. The intercom crackled with urgency, each word a thread in the tapestry of their bond. "Elena, flank left, there's a ridge for cover," Alex directed, his mind mapping the terrain from memory. "Copy that, Cap," she replied, her accent a soft lilt from her Eastern European roots. As the tank crested the rise, a near miss shook them violently, dislodging equipment and filling the cabin with acrid smoke. "Status report," Alex demanded, coughing through the haze. "All systems green, but we're taking heat," Marcus grunted, wiping sweat from his brow. Sophia, ever the quiet force, added, "Ammunition at 70%. We can push through." In that moment, amid the cacophony of war, their voices wove a shield stronger than steel, trust unyielding and profound. The night deepened, turning the battlefield into a symphony of destruction. Explosions lit the sky like false dawns, and the air hummed with the whine of projectiles. Thunderheart pressed on, its treads churning mud and debris, but the enemy was closing in. A radio transmission from command crackled through. "Hold the line at all costs. Reinforcements en route." But costs were mounting. Another shell glanced off the turret, sending shrapnel pinging inside. "Damage to the periscope," Marcus shouted, his view obstructed. Blind in one eye, the tank faltered. Alex leaned forward, his face illuminated by the glow of instruments. "Switch to thermal, Marcus. Elena, keep us moving, zigzag pattern." Her response was immediate. On it. The tank weaved like a serpent, evading a volley that cratered the ground behind them. Sophia reloaded tirelessly, her arms aching but her spirit unbroken. "We've got this," she encouraged, her words a balm against the fear gnawing at their edges. As the firefight intensified, communication evolved beyond orders. It became confession, a raw exchange of humanity. "Remember that bar in Berlin, Cap?" Marcus yelled over the din, firing another round that silenced an approaching foe. "The one with the terrible beer?" Alex chuckled, a rare sound in hell. "And you danced like a fool." It was a fleeting memory, but it anchored them, reminding each that they fought not just for flags, but for moments stolen from peace. Suddenly a direct hit rocked Thunderheart. The tank shuddered, smoke billowing from the engine compartment. "Fire in the hull!" Elena cried, her voice laced with panic for the first time. Flames licked at the edges of her station, heat searing her skin. Sophia grabbed an extinguisher, spraying foam with frantic determination. Not today, she muttered, her eyes fierce. Marcus covered them, unleashing a barrage to buy time. Suppressing fire, go. Alex's mind raced. Elena, can you get us to the bridge? Her hands trembled on the controls, but she nodded. As long as she holds. In the chaos, their intercom became a confessional booth. If we don't make it, Sophia whispered. Tell my brother I love him. The words hung heavy, piercing hearts like shrapnel. Marcus swallowed hard. We'll make it. For all of us, Elena added softly. And for the ones we lost, Alex. The stoic leader felt a tear trace his cheek. You're my family. We fight together, we live together. Through the inferno, they communicated not just with words, but with glances through hatches, shared breaths in the confined space. Each order carried the weight of love unspoken, each response a vow of loyalty. As Thunderheart limped forward, the bridge loomed, a silhouette against the flames. Dawn's first light pierced the smoke-shrouded horizon, casting long shadows over the ravaged land. Thunderheart had reached the bridge, but at a grievous price. The engine sputtered, wounded beyond repair, and enemy forces swarmed like vengeful spirits. Incoming infantry, Marcus warned, his gun traversing to meet the threat. Machine guns chattered, bullets ricocheting off the armor. Alex assessed the dire situation. We hold here, commands almost through. But deep down, he knew the truth. Their stand was a final act. Elena, burned but resolute, maneuvered the tank into a defensive position. Last dance, Thunderheart, she said, her voice breaking. Sophia loaded the final rounds, her hands blistered, her soul alight with purpose. For freedom, she intoned, slamming the breech shut. In those desperate moments, their communication transcended the physical. Words flowed like a river of shared dreams and regrets. Alex, if I fall, promise you'll go home, Elena urged. Her eyes meeting his in the rearview mirror. He shook his head. We all go home. Marcus, firing relentlessly, confessed. I never told my kid how proud I am. Sophia touched his shoulder. He knows. They all know. A rocket streaked toward them, striking the side with thunderous force. The tank listed, alarms blaring. Abandon ship, Alex ordered, but Marcus stayed at his post. Covering your exit. He unleashed hell, buying precious seconds. As the crew scrambled out, Sophia dragged Elena from the flames, their bond unbreakable. Alex turned back for Marcus, but an explosion engulfed the turret. No! Alex roared, grief ripping through him. They huddled in a ditch, watching Thunderheart burn, a pyre for their brother. Reinforcements arrived then, rotors chopping the air, driving back the enemy. But victory tasted like ash. In the aftermath, as medics tended their wounds, the survivors clung to each other. Elena wept openly, Sophia prayed, and Alex stared at the horizon, whispering to the wind. Years later, in quiet moments, they would remember the voices under fire, the laughter amid terror, the confessions in the dark. Marcus's sacrifice echoed in their lives, a powerful testament to the human spirit. They had communicated not just to survive, but to affirm that even in war's maw, love endures. The Steel Brotherhood forever etched in their hearts.